Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. When William J. Bell first sketched out the restless denizens of a fictional Midwestern town called Genoa City in 1973, nobody, least of all the wide-eyed actors stepping into those early studio lights, could have imagined that the canvas would still be unfurling half a century later. The Young and the Restless turned daytime drama into something operatic, boardrooms humming like war rooms, love affairs burning hotter than Bunsen burners, and feuds that outlived primetime dynasties. But soap alchemy isn't only in the plotting. It's in the people who embody those stories year after year. Some performers breeze through like summer storms. Others dig in, sprout roots, and become living landmarks, human clock towers by which viewers tell the time of their own lives. This retrospective celebrates a dozen of those living landmarks. From their first tentative entrances, some in denim jackets and feathered hair, others with briefcases full of ruthless ambition, to their latest seasons, these actors have carried Genoa City on their shoulders. We'll slip back to the crackle of their debut episodes, feel the polyester and analog urgency of late 70s soaps, then fast forward to their most recent arcs where high-definition lighting exposes every secret code of emotion in their eyes. So pour a mug of Crimson Lights coffee, or a flute of society's finest champagne, and settle in. Here's how 12 stalwarts of daytime drama evolved before our very eyes, turning fictional lifetimes into real-world decades. Point 1. Melody Thomas Scott. She arrived as a runaway kid with smudged eyeliner and raw hunger in her voice. Nikki reads. Early life was a study in survival, factory shifts, seedy dives, and one fatal night that would haunt her forever. Melody Thomas Scott, only 23 yet wielding the experience of a silent film ingenue, turned that grit into gold. Fast forward 46 seasons and Nikki Newman is the regal matriarch of the Newman clan, her couture wardrobe as crisp as the ice in her ever-threatening vodka tonic. Where once Nikki's shoulders curled inward, now they square against billion-dollar storms. She spars with corporate sharks before breakfast and still makes the charity gala red carpet by sunset, yet Scott protects the broken center of the girl Nikki once was. In 2025 she quietly revisited the infamous strip club stage where Nikki's journey began, only this time the neon lights reflected not shame but triumph. In that scene, Scott's eyes flickered with decades of subtext: the dancer who dared to love a tycoon, the socialite who buried a child, the woman who keeps choosing to live. Nikki's life shows that redemption isn't a single arc, it's a spiral staircase. Every year Scott climbs one more step, her heels clicking a rhythm Genoa City knows by heart. Point 2. Eric Braeden. Victor Newman didn't merely enter Genoa City, he stormed it. In his 1980 premiere, viewers saw a man in a charcoal suit so sharply tailored it could slice through glass, and a morality just as cutting. Eric Braeden's baritone rumbled like distant thunder. You knew a storm was coming, even when Victor only whispered. 45 seasons later, the mustache remains a force of nature, but the tempest has evolved. Where young Victor weaponized power to mask pain, present-day Victor occasionally disarms himself to protect family bonds he once called weaknesses. Braeden navigates that transformation with near kabuki precision. A single raised brow conveys volumes. A rare smile breaks headlines faster than a stock takeover. In 2025, the writers granted him a quietly radical storyline, Victor mentoring his granddaughter, Katie, in chess, not business. The board became a metaphor for generational healing. And Braeden turned simple phrases like think ahead into fatherly absolution for every child Victor ever hurt. Even in surrender, he roars. When rivals count Victor out, Braeden brings a stillness so ominous it makes wind chime silent. The great mogul's greatest legacy may not be Newman Enterprises, but the total conviction with which Braeden declares, I am Victor Newman, and I will always protect what's mine. 3. Doug Davidson. Back in 1978 Paul Williams was less Boy Scout, more hot rod rebel. He flirted, fibbed, and occasionally foot raced from the law. Doug Davidson's surfer son looks disguised the restless heart of a young man desperate to outrun small-town expectations, but Genoa City changes its wild ones. Across 4 decades Paul traded leather jackets for detective badges, became police chief, and developed the steadiest moral compass in Wisconsin. Davidson played every turn with a sincerity that never dipped into schmaltz, a rare soap commodity. His 2020 farewell arc felt like dusk settling over a familiar porch. Paul was last seen framing a photograph of Catherine Chancellor in his office. Promising her memory he'd keep the city safe. Davidson's decision to step off canvas left fans grieving as if a lighthouse had been switched off, yet in true soap fashion, absence can be presence. Characters still ask, what would Paul do, before making life-altering choices? In a 2024 storyline, his unseen phone call helped Christine rediscover her purpose, an invisible cameo proving Paul's guidance is hardwired into Genoa. City's circuitry, Doug Davidson's tenure shows that heroism isn't loud. Sometimes it's a quiet knock on the door, a badge laid gently on a desk, and the knowledge that you don't have to see the lighthouse to believe the beam is still sweeping the sea point for. Kate Linder. She began as a nameless maid who answered the Chancellor Mansion doorbell with wide-eyed terror. Viewers didn't even hear Esther until her 4th episode. Yet Kate Linder seized the opportunity like a fairy godmother cleaning up Destiny's kitchen. Early 80s Esther wore frilly uniforms that looked like leftover Halloween costumes, cleaning up tumbler shards after Catherine and Jill's champagne wars. Linder's physical comedy, those flailing arms, that nervous giggle, made her the show's pressure valve, releasing tension with slapstick relief. 4 decades on, Esther is no longer comic garnish. She manages Catherine's charitable foundation, dispenses blunt wisdom to billionaires, and rocks power pantsuits that would make Chancellor ghosts cheer. In 2025, when Esther sold a vintage brooch at auction to fund a women's shelter, Linder's tear-rimmed eyes confirmed that the timid housekeeper had blossomed into a pillar, yet she never lost whimsy. Ask Esther to dance at a masquerade and she'll twirl like the staff lounges are still echoing 80s synth. Linder's genius lies in sustaining innocence without naivete, reminding us that goodness can evolve but should never evaporate. To many fans, Esther's laughter is the show's heartbeat, steady, warm, and echoing through the marble halls of Chancellor Legacy. 5. Lauralee Bell. Christine Blair started as the quintessential girl-next-door model, her nickname of Cricket flitting across scripts like a summer breeze. Lauralee Bell, actually soap royalty as the co-creator's daughter, could have coasted on nepotism. Instead, she grew into the role with painstaking authenticity. By the 90s, Cricket had traded runways for law school, and Bell shed ingenue lightness for the gravity of courtroom warfare. She took on sexual harassment storylines that landed on Nightline and turned daytime TV into water cooler debate. Jump to 2025, and Christine is Genoa City's District Attorney Emeritus, navigating a bittersweet love triangle with Danny Romalotti and a still off-screen Paul Williams. Bell plays her maturity like a violin, refined, resonant, yet capable of surprising crescendos. In a recent scene where Christine confronted a corrupt judge, her fury was ice-cold, miles from the nervous laughter of teenage modeling shoots. Cricket's metamorphosis tells a comforting truth: it's possible to evolve without disowning your past. Bell still lets that nickname slip from the lips of old friends, a sonic breadcrumb trail back to simpler days. In Genoa City's sprawling mythology, Christine Blair stands as proof that justice can wear designer suits and still carry the soul of a barefoot girl skipping across a summer lawn. 6. Tracy E. Bergman. Lauren's first appearance was pure 80s spectacle, oversized belts, bigger ambition, and a socialite sneer that could frost glass. Tracy Bergman turned fashion cattiness into an art form, every tossback curl a declarative sentence, yet beneath the flash was ferocity. Early Lauren seduced rockers and tormented rivals, but tragedy, kidnappings, miscarriages, psycho-stalkers introduced new colors to Bergman's palette. By 2005, her marriage to Michael Baldwin fused two reformed schemers into daytimes most sophisticated power coupled. In 2025, Lauren helms Fenmore's flagship boutiques around the globe. She negotiates boardroom mergers by day and serenades Michael in dim jazz clubs by night. Bergman plays her like molten metal, polished yet capable of erupting when threatened. When an upstart influencer tried to stage a fashion coup last fall, Lauren's calm, "I invented the trend you're selling," ended the rebellion with grandmotherly grace and general's precision. Lauren's arc is couture-clad resilience. She teaches us that reinvention isn't starting over, it's hemming the past into a sharper silhouette. And while the hemlines shortened, one thing stayed long: her claws. They're manicured now, but don't be fooled, if Genoa City needs a lioness, Lauren is forever ready to pounce. Point 7. Jess Walton. When Jess Walton inherited Jill Foster Abbott, she replaced daggered melodrama with Shakespearean depth. In her 1987 debut, Jill stored venom behind a killer's smile and used perfume like pheromonal warfare. Walton gave her a laugh, low, smoky, dangerous, as if Jill had memorized everyone's pressure paw.